The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophet, and you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the child. When you have found him, bring me word, so that I too may go and do him homage." After their audience with the king, they set out, and behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them, until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The Magi were sky watchers. They believed that signs in the sky would indicate significant events on earth. They saw a new star, and to them that meant the birth of a king. So they followed the star to find the king. The star led them to Israel. And since they were looking for a king, they did the logical thing, and they went to Herod. He was the king of Israel. He would know the child should be among royalty. So he would know who he was or where he was, or at least he would be able to find out. Herod found that the child was to be born, the king was to be born in Bethlehem, and he sent the Magi there. The star continued to guide them. It stopped over the place where Jesus was. The Magi entered the house, and they saw Mary and Joseph and Jesus. That scene was about as far from royalty as was possible. They could have gone back outside and looked up at the sky and say, maybe that star isn't pointing at this house. They could have thought, maybe that star isn't even pointing at Israel. This was not anywhere near what they expected. Rather than thinking the star was wrong, they changed their expectations. Jesus was like no other king they'd ever seen before. So they decided to look in a different way. And they saw in Jesus the king they were looking for. They worshiped and they offered their gifts. We know the whole story of Jesus. We know how he went about his life. We know of the miracles he performed and the message he proclaimed. That message at times can be as shocking as the scene that the Magi saw. We can think we must be in the wrong house. We sometimes try to negotiate with the message of Jesus. We try to soften it a little bit so it's easier to take. We say, well, Jesus didn't really mean love everyone or forgive without limit. We are called to have the vision and the faith of the Magi. We're called to see in a different way, to change our expectations, and to see the way of Jesus as the true way. To worship him like the Magi by following his way in our lives. To follow it even if those around us don't. To lean in harder when it gets tough. The vision and the faith of the Magi allowed them to see more than what was visible. They saw the King. It will do the same thing for us. That vision and faith will allow us to hear Jesus speak to us in the Scriptures. It will allow us to see him present in the Eucharist and to serve him in everyone we encounter.